To a developing story now, House Republicans demanding answers from the Biden administration over, quote, alarming surveillance on you, the American people.
So documents show federal investigators asked banks to comb through transactions for terms like MAGA and Trump.
So those aren't the only phrases financial institutions were told to key in on in the aftermath of January 6th.
To put it all together, Brooke Singman, who has written the story on .com, joins us right now with details. Good morning to you, Brooke.
Good morning.
Brooke.
Hey, good morning, you guys. That's right. So House Republicans are now seeking answers from a former Treasury official after the agency told banks to flag consumer transactions that included terms like Trump or MAGA. Documents show that banks were told to search for customer data for other key phrases, including popular sports stores like Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, and Dick's Sporting Goods. Now, federal officials also asked those banks to comb through customer transactions for book purchases, including religious texts like the Bible and media subscriptions. Officials allegedly said those purchases could indicate extremism. Now, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, who is leading this investigation, says search of those transactions violate Americans' constitutional rights. Listen.
So it was big banks looking and searching private transactions using key terms at the suggestion of the federal government to find out what you're buying, what you're spending your money on. Scary stuff. All it looks like, without any warrant, without any legal process, they undertook this as a way to identify domestic violent extremism.
Jordan now writing a letter to the former director of Financial Crimes Enforcement Network saying, quote, FinCEN used large financial institutions to comb through the private transactions of their customers for suspicious charges on the basis of protected political and religious expression. Now, in a separate letter, Jordan asked FBI Director Wray to make a senior official available for an interview related to Bank of America. Now, that bank turned over customer data related to the purchases of firearms, hotels, and Airbnbs leading up to and after January 6th. So far, the FBI has declined to comment. Guys.
So it's pretty amazing, Brooke, is that it's not just, well, we're pursuing the answers in January 6th. You're saying prior to January 6th, people were looking for those keywords, right?
No, I'm saying after January 6th. So this all happened in the days after January 6th. And of course, we don't know if there was ever an end date to these searches. Of course, I spoke with a number of sources who told me that these searches and the federal government reaching out to the banks and asking them to hone in on these keywords like MAGA, Trump, right, looking Dick's Sporting Goods and things of that nature. They say that was happening before the inauguration to make sure that there was no type of violence. But there's never an end date, I'm told, from sources who are familiar with these documents on the search of these terms. So I think that's what Jim Jordan is looking for answers on from these officials.
Right. So it was open-ended as to the end because they didn't know when somebody might be done with whatever they were doing. Sounds like it was all part of the federal investigation. But Brooke, this all happened during the Trump administration.
Sure, it happened in the days after January 6th, of course, which was just 2 weeks, I guess, before the inauguration, January 20th. That is part of the Trump administration, maybe the Biden transition team, but I don't think that's really the issue here. It doesn't really matter which administration this is. I think what Jim Jordan is pointing to is the bureaucracy here looking into Americans' private data, right, private banking data, the federal government going into the private sector and saying, hey, turn over this data to us because we have a right to look through all of this. Of course, if they were looking to prevent some sort of attack or something of that nature on the inauguration, of course, that would make sense. But Jim Jordan says that Americans' constitutional rights are being violated here and we don't know if they are still searching for these terms in Americans' bank accounts.
Brooke, what were they? So let's say they would go into someone who was there January 6th. They'd look at their financial transactions, especially Zelle. They really were searching Zelle transactions and look and see if anyone put in the memo, you know, any of these keywords, MAGA. Trump, MAGA, and why Dick's Sporting Goods and Cabela, to see if they were buying supplies to take with them?
Right. Well, it wasn't, guns, right? Yeah, it wasn't necessarily just people that were there on January 6th. That was the reason for these search terms, to see, you know, if there is some sort of pattern.
The reason was.
Right. Okay. But in terms of Dick's Sporting Goods and Cabela's and Pro Bass Shop, which none of those businesses responded to Fox News' request for comment on this report. But the reason that banks were suggesting looking at transactions with codes related to those stores is because of what you can buy at those stores,
Right.
whether it was firearms, which Jim Jordan has said that's a violation of American Second Amendment rights. So this is just a larger story here, I think, and we will keep following the investigation to try to get more answers.
Separate from the executive branch.
So basically, we don't have any privacy. This is
Thank you.
such
Thanks,
an
Brooke.
invasion.
Well, you know, thank you, Brooke. And Brooke mentioned Cabela's and Bass Pro and Dick's Sporting Goods.
All places I shop at.
I was at the big one
Most
in
people
Kansas
do.
City a
Most
couple
Southern.
weeks ago. You know what Bass Pro, Cabela's, and Dick's Sporting Goods all sell? Bear spray. Remember there were a number of police officers, federal officers who were attacked, allegedly, and some people have been convicted since then because they used bear spray.
Yeah.
So maybe they were simply, it seems like you attack a federal officer, there's going to be a federal
But Steve,
investigation,
why would-
obviously. But they,
Why would
Lawrence,
they cast such
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm suggesting
I
that
get
they
it.
all sell bear spray.
I just don't understand why would they cast such a wide net for average day Southerners. As I said, not only do I bank at Bank of America, but I shop at all of these stores, and I wasn't even nowhere near January 6th. It just seems like my number one question is it still going on? The second question, was Bank of America forced to give over this information, or did they willingly give this over to the federal government, Ainsley?
Here's
Do they
the
have
term,
to
yeah.
give it over? I mean,
Here's
what
the-
if you
here's
work at
the-
Bank of America? You say, I don't feel comfortable sharing our customers'
Yeah.
transactions. I want to protect our customers.
Yeah, actually, I highlighted that. They said they voluntarily and without any legal process allowed them to go in and look at all
That's
the records.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Because they could intimidate you. Look,
So-
I could start doing an investigation. I could start doing an
Maybe I need to tear
investigation.
my card then.
So it's
you can't
called
trust them with your information.
This is under the Treasury Department. It's called the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN. And it's a bureau of the U.S. Treasury Department that collects information about financial transactions in order to combat domestic and international money laundering, terror financing, and other financial concerns.
Yeah, this is how we took down Al Qaeda.
I just hope
and stopped funding
such a good-
Hezbollah here at home.
Such a good point. I hope they're looking at all these little jihadis that are marching around our streets in D.C.
Right.
and New York and planning protests, pro-Hamas stuff. Are they looking at all their
Yeah,
financial
who's financing what we're seeing now? The raiding Sloan Kettering. Who's paying these people?
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, it comes down to, did what this FinCEN do, was it allowed by law? Because if you've got your bank, and probably some other banks as well, just voluntarily giving this stuff up, it's probably, it would, and I don't know, Jim Jordan has put a lot of stuff out there, but not a lot of details. We don't know if it was legal. And if it was legal, apparently they can do
looked.
it. And when you sign into a new account, the terms of service, you're going to abide by federal laws. Maybe this is one of them.
They look
We
to
don't
see
know.
if you were purchasing books that had religious text, religious information in them. They look to see what magazines people are subscribing to see if they're MAGA magazines.
Right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.